We begin with question number 2, which is from the Axelos sample paper for create, deliver, and support. All these questions have 4 options, and you need to pick up one of the 4. There may be some questions maybe where you have to pick up 2 answers, but mostly will be like this. We'll look at question number 2 from the Axelos sample papers for CDS. We'll do a few questions on what we have learned so far. Which is the best example of team collaboration? Working with others to achieve individual goals, implementing technology to facilitate communication between team members, working together to achieve a shared organizational objective, aligning the goals and KPIs of all individuals and groups. Collaboration. Option A, working with others to achieve individual goals, is actually cooperation. Implementing technology, while this is useful, but collaboration is more than just using technology. It's about people having a common goal. Therefore, option C is more relevant, working together to achieve a shared organizational objective. Option D, while it is looking very close, aligning the goals and KPIs of all individuals and group, but it is not clear whether the goals are shared as well. Alignment doesn't mean, the alignment may be to some other goals, higher level objectives, but are the teams sharing these goals? That's why D is not fully correct. Next question is question number 13. Which concept is concerned with creating good working relationships with other people by considering their emotional, intellectual and emotional needs? Employee satisfaction management, the value of positive communications, organization structure, automated interactions. Let us look at the answers here. In such questions, it may be better to eliminate the incorrect answers first. For example, it cannot be organization structure. It is more about setting up the structure here. Also not automated interactions for good working relationships. Therefore, the answer is either A or B. Employee satisfaction management is about understanding the employee motivation through surveys and taking actions on them to improve the employees' satisfaction levels. And the question is about creating good working relationships with other people by considering their intellectual and emotional needs. So employee satisfaction measurement itself may not create good working relationships. Employee satisfaction management may lead to slightly better relationship, but that focuses more on the employee satisfaction. Therefore, A can be eliminated. Whereas positive communications does focus on the relationship element, the needs of the other party, their intellectual needs, the emotional needs, and by communicating in a manner which can improve the relationship. Therefore, rather than A, B is the correct answer. Next question is number 24. Which competency profile is required by an individual who has been asked to motivate others to adopt the new ways of working required to support the organization goals? Question is about motivation. Administrator, leader, coordinator or communicator, technical expert. Okay, the responses here. It is not administrator because the administrator generally assigns and prioritizes the tasks, does the document keeping and ongoing reporting, or taking part in basic improvements or initiating some small improvements. Motivation is a key role of a leader. Therefore, this is a leader. Decision making, delegating, motivating, giving incentives, evaluating outcomes, overseeing other activities, supervising as well comes in leadership. So question is rather easy. Not coordinator or communications because that is about coordination between various groups, managing communication between the various groups, and even things like running an awareness campaign, a service awareness campaign or a business awareness campaign will require coordination. And lastly, technical expert also no, because they actually provide the technical expertise or the IT expertise, like technology expertise, and they may conduct some technology based or expert assignments. Next question is number 19. Which is a key aspect of collaboration and workflow? So this is coming from the chapter of collaboration or maybe even team culture. Understanding the complexity of data to assess if it will add value. Ensuring that interactions are designed with the understanding of the human behavior involved in each step. Deciding on a model which can help an organization to manage and control its suppliers. Designing surveys to baseline employee satisfaction and identify actions for improvement. Let us look at the answers here. This is about collaboration. So we have to look at the option where collaboration has been hinted in some way. Understanding the complexity of data to assess if it will add value. It doesn't tell us that there is a collaboration going on. It just says that something has to be done. Option B, ensuring that interactions are designed with an understanding of the human behavior involved in each step. There is an element of collaboration shown here. The interaction, there's a point about in collaboration, there's a point about, or in customer orientation, about human approach to design. So the interaction of in the service maybe should consider the human behavior involved, meaning there should be collaboration with the users in terms of how they are going to use the service. Therefore, there is a hint about collaboration in option B. Option C, deciding on a model which can help an organization to manage and control its suppliers. The moment we have control, collaboration is gone. Again, if there was a discussion about discussing with the suppliers, then yes, there is an element of collaboration. So that is not seen here. Designing surveys to baseline employee satisfaction and identify actions for improvement, though it is good for taking feedback and taking action, but no collaboration here because the survey is not being created in discussion with the employees. It just says design the surveys. So collaboration is gone. So B is the best example of collaboration and workflow. Ensuring the design or the interactions are designed with an understanding of the human behavior involved in each step. So this is, element of collaboration is shown here. And this is one of the ways of customer orientation. So this question has mixed the collaboration as well as the customer orientation, where customer orientation can be done by training the employees about customer business, etc. And also considering the human needs. That's how we can conclude on this. Last question on this section. Which statement about employee surveys is correct? They are intended to be conducted across an entire organization. They are typically conducted annually. They are conducted at several levels, formally and informally. They can only be conducted electronically, so have limited application. Option A, they are intended to be conducted across an entire organization. Not necessarily. They can be done in some pockets, some regions, for example. They are typically conducted annually. Not typically. It can be any time period. It depends on the organization. They are conducted at several levels, formally and informally. This is a good idea. Do it at different levels in a formal way and informal way. But let's look at D first. They can only be conducted electronically. Not necessary. They can be in a meeting or a paper-based. Yeah? So therefore that automatically brings us to C. So C is the correct answer. Number 35. An organization wants to ensure that the introduction of new services is as smooth as possible. Some of the key activities it has identified are educating the support teams with lessons from development and testing, preparing self-service knowledge articles for users, making development team members available in case there are any issues immediately after go live. Go live has happened already. Which practice is the most important for these activities? Release management, software development and management, deployment management, service design. So how to work on this one? You may have to find some clues from the question. it says new services is being introduced, and one thing we know is it's go live has happened, which means the release has happened. But the system has not stabilized yet. You see, still educating the support teams with lessons from the development and testing, preparing self-service knowledge articles for users, and keeping the development team members available in case of incidents immediately after go live. The word immediately after go live, the phrase is most important here. And does it happen in A, B, C, or D? So you may have to eliminate some of the ones. If the go live has happened, then C is definitely ruled out because deployment happens before the release. So we can rule that out. It cannot be service design because service design is much earlier. In fact, the service design should consider how to provide support immediately after go live. So it leaves us with A and B. Software development and management, that doesn't focus on these things. It doesn't focus on the hypercare, early life support. This early life support, all this is about early life support. Once the product is released into operations, into production. So it is most likely A. And early life support is not part of software development and management, even though we have the development people available on standby for any incidents. That's how we can conclude that it is release management, yeah? In the early life support. And as I mentioned, B may be very close, but software development is about, it will definitely support the releases with the knowledge and documentation, definitely. But these activities will be part of the release management practice. This is a big question. And the first thought which comes to me is that it can take time to read these questions. So practicing these questions are important. This is just one of the sample papers from Axelos, which we are doing this in this training. There's also another sample paper, number 2, which you will find in the LMS when you have access. And please try the complete sample paper 2 with a timer, and also the sample paper 1 with a timer. Yeah? Use the timer of 1.5 hours and see how much you score. 39. An organization releases service upgrades in response to changing market demand. The market demand needs to be fulfilled quickly to capture market value. Some members of the product team believe that some tests can be skipped because of the need to release quickly. Other team members believe that everything should be tested carefully. Therefore, they have proposed increasing the number and scope of tests. Which is the best approach to resolve this situation? A. Limit testing to the minimum required for compliance and allocate resources for solving incidents that might follow releases. B. Increase the frequency and strength of testing and delay releases if necessary for tests to be completed. C. Review the test strategy considering the probability and impact of failures to define what should be tested. D. Review the release plans to ensure there is enough time for detailed testing, especially the complex systems. Okay, so if you look at this one here, to get the key points here, they want to capture the market value quickly, which means the release has to be done soon. And some people are saying that skip some of the tests because quick release. Other people say everything should be tested. So they're saying that increase the number of tests and the scope of tests. So what should we do? Let's look at it one by one. Option A, limit the testing to minimum required for compliance. And imagine minimum testing may create some risks. There may be some risks to the service which is being released. So even if it is, we are bypassing, tests can be bypassed only if they know the impact of the failure of the functionality. So remember, in the strategy for testing, we need to look at the impact of possible failures and certainly test those areas where there are more likelihood of risks happening to the service. Yeah? So testing should focus on those areas where the likelihood of failure and impact of failure is more. So A therefore can be ruled out. Increase the frequency and strength of testing and delay the release. Delaying the release is not possible because then they cannot capture the market value. So the same point again holds good. Look at the where the failures are likely and the impact is more. Option C Review the testing strategy considering the probability and impact of failures to define what should be tested. This is a key consideration in service testing. Therefore, this will be the correct answer. And review the release plans to ensure there is enough time for detailed testing. Though this is not a bad thing, yeah, do the good planning so that most of the things can be tested. Particularly if it's a complex system, definitely it's a good idea to test as much as possible. But still, what to test should be chosen correctly. However the complexity may be, there is not infinite time and resources available. So typically it is not possible to test everything and anything. So once again, coming back to the same philosophy that for the requirements which are expected by the customer, each of the requirements should be assessed and seen which might be failing in the service, and therefore where the testing should focus on. And there's a very good concept from a strategy perspective, a good guideline.